It is Friday again, and today I'm going to have a quick chat about self-care. And this doesn't matter whether you're in a work environment or whether you're studying or whether you're someone who's trying to juggle both, plus family, plus anything else that comes along. Self-care is such an important thing and probably the first thing that slips. So for many of us, we are busy, we've got our priorities, we've got lots of things that we're trying to get done. And finding time for ourselves, finding time and validating for ourselves and justifying for ourselves that we're allowed to take a 5 or 10 minute break, even just to sit and just to breathe and just focus and just, let go of the stress is really hard to do because, time, we've not got much time, got to churn things out. You might notice I've got a bit of a cold today. Again, I might be burning the candle at least two ends at the moment. So getting run down, getting sick, and in many cases getting really sick for some people is one of those outcomes if we're not looking after ourselves. So what does self-care look like? So self-care, for many of us, where we have so much going on, is actually a strategy that we need to put in place. And that can be, and probably the one that I've seen that I think I might be trying very soon, is actually coming up with a list of the things that I will do or that I can do to help just recenter myself. And I don't have a copy of one here, so I am going to have to come up with one and share it. But basically looking at, okay, what are some of the physical activity things I can do? That might be going for a walk. It doesn't have to be running an ultra marathon. It might be doing some stretches. It doesn't have to be a full yoga class. It just is things you can do that will help bring your stress levels down, give you a bit of time to recenter and reconnect with that mind, body, and emotional spirit state that we have. Other things, thinking about the things that you can do from a spiritual perspective. Is that just, and that could be something that is religious for you, depending on your own personal choices, or it could just be, sitting on a park bench, just taking in the trees, the birds, something where it gives your spirit a chance to just release and reconnect with what we have around us. It might be, you might also be looking at things like what you're eating, so your physical health. So, like we talk about in the program, is looking at the kinds of food that you eat, what you're drinking. Are you, having sleep? Are you having the right sleep at the right time? Being aware that sleep that you have before midnight is twice as good as sleep that you have after midnight. So maybe getting up early to study rather than staying up late, for example. And so there's all sorts of different strategies that you can come up with. And if you have a list and you have a checklist, and when things are getting tough, you might have on your fridge, for example, it's like, okay, I'm starting to feel a bit worse for wear. What should I be doing? And ideally, you're doing stuff all the time, but there might be some things that you bring in more when you're really struggling. And that can be stress, that can be physical exhaustion, it could be anything where we're not on top of our game and we're not feeling absolutely amazing. So for some of us, that's going to be most days. Like there's things I need to do every day to keep going, and that's, for me, that's like, spending quality time with my kids, to realize why I'm doing what I'm doing, talking to students at university about the challenges they've had and the wins that they're having, all those sorts of things that help keep us focused. Okay, so that's it for me for today. Make sure that if you're feeling a bit under the weather, that you are looking after yourself, particularly now as we're getting close to, for many of you, exams and last minute assessments. It's really important to not let that slip, because if it slips, you could fall in a big heap, and you don't know if you're going to fall in a heap before the exam or after the exam. And then you've got to start all over again for next term. All right, so take care of yourselves. Have a great and hopefully some rest in your weekend, and I will catch you next week. See ya.